Good morning and a warm welcome to all. It is the 1st of July 2014. I'm Beryl Ooro. Let's start the bulletin with a look at the leading stories.
The respondent is being investigated in connection with murder, forcible transfer of population.
Lamu governor released on 5 million shilling bail or 20 million shilling bond with 2 sureties.
This year, we are recruiting a further 10,000 police officers to join them.
Recruitment. The Kenyan National Police Service intends to recruit 10,000 police officers come July 14th this year. The cashless system. Deadline for cashless system on PSV looms, but are Kenyans ready? And finally, Boko Haram, 30 killed in a series of attacks on churches in Chibok, northern Nigeria. We start off at the coast. Lamu Governor Issa Timami has been released on a 5 million shilling cash bail or 20 million bond with 2 sureties. The governor has been in police custody after being arrested in connection with the recent attacks in Mpeketoni that left 60 people dead.
High Court Judge Martin Muya ruled that there were no grounds to continue detaining Governor Timami in custody and released him on bail of 5 million Kenya shillings.
I believe the investigating...
On Friday, the prosecution asked Justice Martin Muya to have the governor detained to enable the police to conclude their investigations. The prosecution counsel, Alexander Muteti, told Justice Muya that the governor is being investigated for alleged murder, forcible transfer of population, and terrorism-related offences in respect to the recent attacks in Mpeketoni.
And the grounds are that the respondent is being investigated in connection with murder, forcible transfer of population, and other terrorism-related offences within the Lamu County. And further, that there are intelligence reports that the crimes committed were planned and systematically executed, and there is need to have sufficient time to inquire into.
Why we were not able to respond, I really can't comment because I really don't know.
Despite an immediate claim of responsibility from Al-Shabaab, the Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta has blamed local political networks for the attack. Mr. Timami, who was arrested last week, alleged that he was a victim of corruption cartels and state agencies that want him out of the county, claims echoed by other political leaders.
Sisi kama viongozi wa Lamu, tuko tayari kushirikiana na state kama kuna chochote ili tuhakikishe haya mambo yameisha kwa njia ya usalama na njia ya haki. Lakini ikiwa sisi viongozi tutafuatwa, kugandamizwa kwa sababu ili tusiongee kutetea haki za watu wetu, hiyo haitawezekana.
The security agents waweza kutekeleza uchunguzi wao kwa njia ambayo inastahili. Si vema kuona damu zisizokuwa na hatia zilimwagwa hapo Mpeketoni na poromoko na sehemu zingine, kisha iwe wale watu hawana hatia tena ndio watakuwa wanatumika kama scapegoat ya zile damu zilimwagika.
Why our governor was detained for the last 5 days, and yet he is a very popular man, and the government could not do the investigation, its investigation, until the first they arrested him, then they did investigation after 5 to 6 days.
Mimi nauliza hivi, Governor Timami sini wapande ile? Sini mtu wa Musalia? Sini Jubilee? Huyo ni Raila? Huyo ni Weta? Huyo ni Kalonzo? Waongo ama sio waongo? Waongo ama sio waongo? Let me say this. People cannot be killed and you take a governor to court and charge him with eviction. Nobody was evicted in Lamu. Hakuna mtu alifukuzwa, watu waliuawa. You should charge him with murder if you have evidence.
Timami is a member of the opposition United Democratic Forum Party, led by Musalia Mudavadi, who maintains Timami is innocent.
We still maintain that he was wrongfully held, he was wrongfully accused, and up to now it is not clear
what charges they wanted to prefer against Mr. Issa Timami, the governor of Lamu. We maintain he was a scapegoat. He was being used to try and help some people who wanted to cover up. And we are happy that at least he's been given a bond. Yet we don't know for what offense that he's being accused. There's still no charge sheet that we have seen.
The attacks have badly dented Kenya's tourism industry in Lamu, a key foreign currency earner and employer for the country.
To security matters, Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Ole Lenku over the weekend claimed that the Coalition for Reforms and Democracy is out to destabilize the government. Speaking in Murang'a County, Lenku said there was evidence that the opposition was recruiting members of the outlawed sects such as Mungiki and the Mombasa Republican Council. Security expert Minjiwe Mwenda told Kamene Goro in an interview that Ole Lenku's remarks should not be taken lightly. Here is that excerpt.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's start off. Yesterday, our Cabinet Secretary, the Interior Cabinet Secretary, went to Murang'a County, and at a lovely church service, he talked about how most of the security concerns we're having in the country are attributed to the opposition. He further said that there are further plans to use the Mungiki and MRC, well-known Kenyan militias, to destabilize the country. My first question to you is, should Ole Lenku have said what he said in his capacity as the Cabinet Secretary for Interior?
Let's first of all look at who this man is. He is the chief of security in this country. And so definitely, in his capacity, he has a job to do for this country. It's required of him to keep this country safe. And even yesterday, I remember in the statement, he reminded people that I'm speaking this as the Cabinet Secretary for Security. So he knows something. Surely he knows something that maybe the rest of us don't know. And so it's only fair to treat his statement with a sense of respect and hope that really he means it.
Okay, so he means what he said, and in his capacity as the CS of Interior, then maybe his claims are legitimate. But I think the big question that every other Kenyan is asking is how legitimate are these political insinuations that are going hand in hand with very brutal attacks in the country? Is this actually really happening? Is this really a political stalemate the country is facing, or is this an actual terror threat we are facing that's just being covered by politics? Is the government playing a game with us?
Let's go back to Mpeketoni, for example. When it happened, the president made an official statement that this was said to be the work of local political networks. And the president in the same statement said, we had intelligence about this attack and we passed it on to the people that were supposed to act on the intelligence. He says someone did not, do his part in acting on the intelligence, and so we will hold them accountable. What the president meant is the same thing Lenku is saying right now, that, hey, we have intelligence about something coming. We know something is coming. I don't know if people quite understand how intelligence networks work, but these people have their ear on the ground. They are in those very places where you would hardly expect them to be. They have their cameras, they have their recorders, they have gadgets to record this and to take note of everything that they gather in the intelligence. And so it's likely, it's likely that this man is actually saying the truth, and we better take him serious.
I think that wraps up our conversation with Mr. Mwenda. And I think it goes without saying, a lot is changing in the country, but it is nothing without the capacity of the Kenyan population. Many thanks for staying tuned to Ebra Africa TV. I'm Kamene Goro, and until next time, do have yourself a lovely evening.
To service providers in the security sector, the government will hire 10,000 new police officers this year as it embarks to improve security. The recruitment exercise will kick off on the 14th of this month in all counties. Here's the story with Sam Gakunye.
The latest move by the National Police Service Commission is aimed at increasing the number of police officers to improve security, which has been a major challenge for the Jubilee administration. The recruitment comes after this promise by the president during this year's Madaraka Day celebrations.
Nearly 8,000 young men and women have already joined our discipline services this year. To strengthen them for the challenges to come, this year we are recruiting a further 10,000 police officers to join them.
Already, 2.9 billion shillings has been set aside for the recruitment exercise, which targets 10,000 officers. Of the 10,000 police officers who will be recruited, 6,000 will be regular police and 4,000 will serve in the administration police unit. They'll be trained for only 9 months before deployment. The training will focus on management, research methodology, judicial procedure, information security management, cybercrime, customer care and security.
And with the improvement of their terms of service, it is now absolutely clear that we are ready to ensure that every terrorist is subdued, every cattle rustler is brought to book, and every criminal made to account before the law of our land.
Security analysts, however, say the recruitment of more officers may not be the solution to insecurity. Recently, gunmen attacked a village in Lamu County days despite the heavy presence of police officers deployed after the Mpeketoni attack.
I don't think Mpeketoni would have been any different with or without police officers if someone did not act on the intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
Mpeketoni did not need 10,000 policemen to stop. Neither did it need 100 policemen to stop. It just needed a few responsible police officers who would have stopped it. So someone did not do his job at Mpeketoni.
Yes.
Let's agree about that.
Yeah.
However, I think 10,000 is better than nothing.
National Police Commission Chairman Justin Kavuludi says the exercise will be carried out in a single day in all counties. With the recruitment, the police population will increase to nearly 100,000. The police-to-population ratio in Kenya stands at 1 police officer to 800 Kenyans, against the 1 police officer to 400 people recommended by the United Nations for efficient and effective policing. The minimum requirement for recruits will be a D+ in KCSE, while the minimum age has been set at between 18 and 28 years for KCSE holders, and 30 years for those with specialized skills. Candidates must submit at least 1 letter of recommendation from a respected member of the community, such as a former head teacher, religious leader, or community leader. Sam Gakunyi, Ebro Africa News, Nairobi, Kenya.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has issued a stern warning to all lazy and underperforming workers at the Kenya Ports Authority, saying that no one will be spared. He was speaking during the launch of the Mombasa Ports Authority Community Charter, which seeks to enhance development and improve efficiency in cargo clearing.
The cost of doing business in Kenya has gone up in the recent past, especially with the increase in cases of insecurity in the major towns. But this trend is expected to take a drastic change with the plans to improve efficiency at the port of Mombasa. The Mombasa Port Community Charter is expected to enhance transport along the northern corridor from the port of Mombasa to Uganda, Rwanda and Burundi.
This port, if run efficiently and effectively, can go a long way towards helping us as a country and as a region achieve the kind of economic transformation that we have promised our people. It is therefore critical that those charged with the responsibility of making this port efficient do their job.
The charter, developed in consultation with all stakeholders involved in the import, export and transportation of cargo, is aimed at enhancing cargo clearance procedures and speed up the movement of goods along the trade route. All public institutions under the charter have been challenged to perform as expected, and evaluation will be done to weigh their performance. And since the Mombasa port joins Kenya with other countries, President Kenyatta has urged foreign countries to assist Kenya in improving the port, as it will also be for their own good.
Hii ni kama kamba mmejiweka kwa shingo, mjue hivi. Kwa sababu mimi sikushurutisha mtu, mimi sikulazimiza mtu. Kama ungekuwa ukitaka ungeweka kidole, lakini sasa umeweka, ujue ya kwamba kazi yako ina depend na ile kidole umeweka. Ukishindwa, ujue ya kwamba Wakenya ni wengi ambao wanagojea kufanya kazi hizo, na sisi tuko tayari kuwapatia waendelee nazo.
No doubt, once the contents of the charter are implemented, there would be faster movement of goods along the corridor, and this will place Kenya at a better and competitive place compared to her neighbors.
To development matters, the Ministry of Devolution and Planning has launched the ministry's 2013 to 2018 strategic plan, highlighting the government's roadmap towards enhancing the country's devolution agenda as enshrined in the Constitution. The strategic plan highlights the current global, regional, and national challenges that face Kenya's development.
This is the first strategic plan of the Ministry of Devolution and Planning, as constituted by President Uhuru Kenyatta in May 2013. The ministry has identified 7 strategic issues that will deal with planning and policy formulation, tracking of results, gender equity, and the empowerment of youth, women, and vulnerable groups, among others. To address these strategic issues, the ministry has formulated a number of strategic objectives and strategies of realizing them. One of the key strategies is to strengthen the linkages between policy formulation, planning, and budgeting at all levels.
The departmental performance contracts will be drawn from this strategic plan and will in turn be cascaded to the lower levels of our officers through the individual performance appraisal systems. The implementation of this strategic plan will be monitored and evaluated under the National Integrated Monitoring and Evaluation System, which we call the NIMES.
To realize goals for the youth and women, the ministry will spearhead affirmative action for youth and women in all aspects of national development and promote gender participation of women, youth, and marginalized groups in all its programs. The ministry will also mobilize resources for youth and women and marginalized groups.
With a population of over 60% being categorized as youth, it is evident that a development agenda that does not put young people at the center alienates the majority of the population. It is for this reason that the youth have been given a big priority in this ministry's strategic focus. At the end of this strategic plan, we should have reached and touched 1 million youth, both directly and indirectly, through the National Youth Service.
To reduce and enhance community resilience, the ministry will strengthen the country's disaster response capabilities by embracing a proactive approach and by strengthening linkages and coordination with the regional and international institutions and bodies concerned with disaster response and relief. The ministry will also provide the presidency with timely progress on the budget and information on the latest achievements on its top priority projects under the Office of Management and Budget and Annual Public Expenditure Review. The strategic plan outlines the government's commitment towards an effective and functional devolved system of government, and it is now upon Kenyans and elected leaders to work together in ensuring that devolution works in the nation. Reporting for Ebro Africa News, I'm Brenda Zeda in Nairobi.
To the transport sector, we are not ready to transit to the cashless fare system. That's the message Matatu owners are sending to the government as the deadline for the implementation of the new system looms. Matatu Owners Association Chairman Simon Kimtai says, although the sector is ready to embrace the technology, more time is required to enable stakeholders to implement the new law. Our reporter Kisa Wandera brings us the report.
Matatu owners must start implementing the cashless fare system from 1st of July. But with the deadline looming, the new system seems to be facing a lot of challenges. Matatu Owners Association Chairman Simon Kimutai blames the snail pace on the government.
There would only be a small letdown, probably because of numbers. And I'm sure also there could be an attribute on the government not moving fast to license them. I know that nobody would want to invest because it requires big investment to start this system.
This is the camera. The system enables commuters to pay their fare automatically by tapping their prepaid cards on electronic gadgets. But the scarcity of these gadgets in the market is one of the major setbacks experienced and which Kimutai says should be dealt with immediately.
I don't foresee lots of trouble. As I said, it's not resistance from public transport. It is the availability of the gadgets and the systems. You know, this involves banks, it involves those service providers, the technology that they would use. And I'm sure they must be, you know, really working their heads round to ensure that they are able to capture and have everybody migrating into the system.
A number of firms, including Safaricom, have already introduced cashless payments. Others are Google in partnership with Equity Bank, who brought BebaPay, and a Hong Kong firm Tap to Pay that has partnered with KCB and MasterCard with their prepaid plastic called Abiria Card. Matatu operators under the investment vehicle dubbed Compliant MOA are served by 1963 G-Nice. According to Kimutai, the Matatu Owners Association is in talks with the government and other stakeholders to come up with a universal card that will serve all routes.
There is a rule that has been put that they've got to be, I would say, universal. That you can use the Google in 1963, you can use 1963 in any other, that it has to, you know, be interwhat, I don't know, yeah, that kind of thing. So it's a rule. So I'm sure the technicians or whoever they could be are working on it.
This has, however, come as bad news to Matatu operators who say they will experience losses if the new system is to be fully implemented.
Na pia hii kazi yetu kulingana venye tumeisoea pesa ya kila siku. Ikiwa tunapata 600 ama 700, hiyo tunajaribu kukatakata sababu sasa hata kampuni yetu haiwezi kaweza kutuajiri pesa mingi. So hata kama watakuwa wakitupea 500 kwa siku, hiyo ni 15k per month. Na watoto kama uko na watoto watatu kwa secondary school, hiyo 15k itakutosha na kwa Sigomala.
Lack of awareness to both the commuters and the general public serves as one of the reasons most are reluctant to go cashless. They want more time.
Mimi naonelea serikali ingekubali tupatie muda kidogo kwa sababu watu hawajaelimishwa, wangekubali waelimisha watu kwanza. Ndio watu waanza kuchukua hizo kadi. Sasa hii hakuna watu, si wengi wako nao, ni wachache sana.
Hatuko tayari kwa cashless pay kwa sababu hii kitu imekuja very soon. Na ukiangalia kama ni mtu ametoka kule mashambani, akikuja Nairobi, yani unataka kumaanisha hatutambeba juu ako na cash.
Official data shows that the matatu industry in Nairobi generates 2 million shillings daily and more than $500 million daily countrywide.
Well, the government's efforts to streamline the matatu industry is being met with a lot of resistance, not only from the operators, but from the commuters as well. But they still hope. Many are still asking for more time before we do away with the liquid cash in our matatus. For Ebro Africa News, I am Akisa Wandera in Nairobi.
And that story brings us to the end of the Bulletin on Africa this morning. Up next, we take a look at the conversations that are taking place on the social media platform on our segment On Trend.